Hi folks, welcome to MTS. I've been working on this Lionel BNSF-8-40 that I picked up on eBay is not working. Lionel model number is 18291. I was able to get it up and running, but there was an issue where the locomotive would stop intermittently. After doing some research on OGA forums, I found that this locomotive had a signal loss issue. Symptoms were flickering headlights and stopping intermittently. I didn't see where a solution was posted, so I wanted to post this video as a plausible solution. Basically, what happened was the antenna wire was connected to this piece of metal that was mounted with a single screw to a plastic post secured to the chassis. I tried desoldering the antenna wire from the metal and tried a couple different mounting options that yielded the same results. So I removed the metal piece altogether. Ended up with just a piece of wire connected with a wire nut to the end of the antenna wire. Just dangling, the shellless locomotive made it around the layout without signal loss. I was also able to activate the horn all around the layout. Now I needed to find a way to conceal the wire inside the shell. Going back to the workbench, I was able to utilize the existing wire clips in the shell and some masking tape to store the wire in the top of the shell with a horseshoe-like design, careful to make sure that the wire didn't impede any of the smoke or motor functions. If it works, great. If not, it's just another option we can rule out. I wanted to leave enough slack where I could connect the wire to the antenna wire with a wire nut. Adding the wire nut for the connection, it's time to secure the shell back to the chassis. The trick here is not to force it and make sure none of the wires prevent the shell from going back in place. Now that we have the shell back in place, I didn't want to add the screws till after we test at the layout. Back at the layout, it's time to test our solution. The locomotive would previously lost signal just before the tunnel, then would lose signal again on the other side of the layout. Let's get it fired up and see what happens. Already seeing an issue. As you can see, the lights are flickering and the signal is not getting through the plastic shell to even establish a TMCC connection. Not a good solution, but it was a good try. I'm going to try another idea to see if we can't get this thing to work. Again, back at the workbench, I've taken the shell back off the chassis. One of the other things I want to try is soldering the antenna wire to one of the handrails on the outside of the shell. Similar to the TMCC steam locomotives, Lionel wired the antenna to the grab irons on the outside of the boiler. I'm going to clean off a small spot on the bottom of the handrail assembly to solder the end of the antenna wire. I have the shell positioned to where I think I want the wire to connect. There is a piece of foam tape on the chassis. We want to make sure that our connection doesn't ground out to the chassis. Using a Dremel with a small sanding wheel, we will remove the paint, then clean with alcohol prior to soldering. The idea is that we will have enough slack in the wire to flip the shell back into place. There we go. Less is more. While we are waiting on the soldering iron to heat up, I've secured the wire with a gator clip to the handrail assembly and prepped the area with flux. Also, good to melt a patch of solder prior to soldering the wire. This helps make sure there is a secure connection. Be sure to layer a few slices of electric tape not only over the wire connection, but also where the connection is located on the foam tape on the chassis. Okay, let's try this one out. Kind of popped in place. I've got a little wire there that's holding that Okay. My initial concern is that since only one side of the locomotive is connected, we may lose signal when the locomotive is on the other side of the layout. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. Good solid light. Let's connect the TMCC. Okay, we're going to go around the layout at a really low speed and ensure that we have the signal all the way around. Okay, I'm stopping it right here. So far, so good. We're going to take you to the other side of the layout and see how it works on over there. Okay, here we go. So we got good connection in the tunnel. Walk back here a little bit. flicker right there, but hit the horn again. This was one of the spots where I had an issue. Got a tree. I'm getting excited, folks. Almost all the way around. Here we go. Okay, made it all around the layout successfully. The first option did not work, but soldering the antenna wire to the outside handrail seemed to do the trick. On another note, be sure not to over-tighten the screws closest to where your soldered connection is in place when securing the shell to the chassis. Again, you don't want the soldered connection to ground on the chassis. But I'd say that was a successful test. Try it if you have the same issue. Again, you'll just need to make sure you have a nice hot soldering iron and just some bare metal to be able to solder to. But based on what I'm seeing, I think this is a plausible solution. So hope the video helped you out as maybe an alternative solution to an issue you may be having. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the line.